There are 55 brawlers with a hypercharge. Today we're going to be ranking every single hypercharge from worst to best. We're of course starting off with the F tier, and probably the worst hypercharge in the game is Sprout. Now look, in Heist it's decent, but no one plays Sprout in Heist. In any other mode, this super does nothing. People can hug your wall and it still won't deal any damage. I don't know what's up with this, but it's absolutely terrible. We're moving on to Pearl. Now Pearl, she knocks people back with her super and then you leave a burning area behind. Why would anyone with eyes walk into that fire? I just don't get it. If it charged your heat faster or something like that, it would be a lot better. Right now it's really bad. Now we have Nani, and this hypercharge practically does nothing. Like, it makes your Nani head bigger, makes it easier to hit people, but not really. It makes it more awkward to use as well. I really don't like this. Then we have Miko. Now Miko is usable, but you first have to like spam out your attacks and stuff, and then use your super so you can actually make use of the stat buffs. Otherwise, when you hypercharge and super immediately, you get 0 value out of the stat buffs. So you kind of waste your entire hyper. Then we have Jean. Jean pulls in multiple people, really cool, but you can only hit one person at a time, so you're kinda cooked if you do that. Also, you pull people faster, so you have less time to unload your ammo when they're getting pulled, so you have less time to kill someone. Lastly, in the F tier, we have Charlie, and Charlie leaves spiders behind when you super someone. Doesn't really make sense because those spiders are gone when someone comes out of their super. If they change it so that the spiders would appear when the cocoon opens, that would make a lot more sense, and then people actually have to deal with the spiders first because they're right on top of them. Then we have the D tier, and we're starting off with Daryl. I don't really feel like this does anything. You maybe deal some more damage, you maybe get a little bit more supercharge. No, this is not good. Ems is good to wear off aggro brawlers who are close to you, and that's it. It doesn't deal much more damage, doesn't do anything, it feels like. Next up is 8-bit. 8-bit gets a turret, and that seems great, but people can easily take down your turret. If you place your turret behind the wall, well, it won't shoot anyone, so then it's kinda useless. Lastly, for the D tier, we have Squeak, and Squeak's hyper seems good until you play it, and it barely hits anyone, ever. Then we have the C tier, and we start off with Bull. Bull gets a shield, which is great, but once you come out of your super, the shield is gone and you're gonna get obliterated. Then we see Brock, and Brock is receiving a lot of hate for his hyper. No one seems to find it good, but it actually got buffed by quite a lot. I don't think it's too bad anymore. It's actually worth using it now. It's decent. Next up is Poco, and everyone thought Poco's hypercharge would be absolutely crazy, it would be dumb broken. But it turns out it is not that good. You get an overshield, which is nice, but it depletes way too quickly in order to make use out of it. Now we have Spike. Spike is really lame. You get a bigger super. It does the job, but it's not anything extreme. Now we have Angelo and Fang, and both their hypercharges are equally as good, I think. But there's one problem, and their charge rate is super slow. There are matches where you don't even get your hypercharge because of this awful charge rate, and I think that is really bad. Next up is Primo. Primo is pretty good. You can pull people close to you when you super. It's pretty good because you can cycle super faster. Makes your damage output a lot higher. I think this is a pretty decent hypercharge. Then we have Tick, and Tick gets a faster head. It almost always hits, and the mines it leaves behind 4,000 damage. That's really good. Usually no one walks into it, but when people do, it is really value. Next up is Shelly. Shelly gets a bigger super, deals a little bit more damage. I think it's a pretty decent hyper. Same thing for Colt. Super just gets a little bit wider. These older hypercharges are really lame. That's true. Then we also have Jackie, also one of the first hypers. You slow people. This slow area is actually really big, so you can slow people almost anywhere on the map. That's pretty good. Then we have Jessie. Jessie gets a bigger turret. It has more health. I guess it's decent. You get it quite often, but I don't know. It might be B tier, but I think it's fine. Now we have Belle, and you can always or almost always hit your super. The home in is nice, but it's not always necessary. Now we have Cordelius, and Cordelius is hyper. It slows people down in the Shadow Realm. It almost always secures a kill, but usually you also already secure a kill in the Shadow Realm, so it's kind of overkill. It's pretty good though, and it might also be a B tier hyper. Then the B tier, Rosa. Rosa gets a slowing area around her. That is really good. People won't escape from you once they're close to you, so you can probably just kill them because you also have that shield up. She's really good. Then we have Crow. Crow is insanely good on Heist. Anywhere else, you have to be inside of someone to kill them with his hypercharge. Problem is, Crow is really squishy, so you're probably gonna get killed. Moving on to Otis, and Otis has a pretty good hypercharge. You stun people. It's not really necessary because you can probably kill someone already. It's not bad though, but it's not anything special either. Then we have Buzz, and this is more fun than it's good. It's really good for movement, and you can probably get a couple more stuns off. You can maybe kill someone quicker. I don't know. It's not bad. Next up is Piper. Now you can do some cool tricks with this. It is actually pretty good. Might also be A tier, but I think B tier is decent. Then we have Ruffs, and Ruffs gets a hypercharge from his hypercharge. It's a little bit difficult to use. I don't really know. It seems really broken, but I think it's kinda meh. Then the A tier, and we're starting off with Janet. Janet's super will be a lot easier to control, which is really nice because you can move and move and move. I guess it's pretty good. Then we have Maisie. Maisie's hyper is kinda crazy. It deals a lot of damage consistently as well. It's really dangerous against tanks. Next up is BB, also really dangerous against tanks. You can cycle super after super after super. I think this might be the most fun hypercharge in the game. It's so satisfying to see so many bubbles everywhere. Gray gets 2 teleports, one with a shield as well. This is really good. Next up is Barry. Barry super doubles in size. This area control is crazy good. Penny also has great area control. You now get 2 cannon shots. Basically doubles her DPS, and it also provides a lot more area control. Colette is great, especially on heist, but also everywhere else. If you use push it and you hypercharge, you can probably hit your super twice, and your clone or whatever it is also hits twice, and you can cycle super after super after super, and that's really good. Leon, also an amazing hypercharge. You become invisible always. It's really scary. Next up is Frank, and Frank is a little bit difficult because you break all of your cover. You want balls, but you break everything. This hypercharge is still really good. It's really threatening. Moving on to Ash, and any splash damage brawler is gonna take care of Ash's rats. If they can't do that though, Ash's hyper is absolutely wild. Now we have Edgar, and Edgar's hyper is the only thing that makes him remotely viable. You need this hyper if you want to play Edgar. Buy this hypercharge. Eve's hypercharge is next up, and I haven't really tried it or seen it, but it seems to be kinda broken, especially if you don't have any brawlers who can hit multiple enemies at once. This is gonna be crazy strong. Then lastly, in the A tier we have Gale. The charge rate got nerfed by quite a lot. You don't get it as often anymore. Still though, if you can hit 3 people per hypercharge super, you can cycle it and you get team wipe guaranteed. Then the S tier. Starting off with Surge. Surge's hypercharge is really good, really dangerous, definitely one of the best ones in the game. Nita. Nita's bear becomes a lot stronger, a lot better, a lot scarier. This is amazing. Then we have Barley, and Barley's hypercharge is really underrated. I think a lot of people underestimate how strong this hypercharge actually is. Then we have Sandy. Sandy is great. You can mute people. I don't know why they added that, but it exists. Your entire team gets a massive speed boost and of course invisibility. That is really strong. Moving on to Lou, and Lou can stun someone. Stun is one of the best abilities in the game, maybe even the best, and when you instantly do that, that is just amazing. Now we have Tara. Tara also gets a bigger super, but this one is actually super essential. You usually pull in more than one person so you can cycle your super again. This is just absolutely broken. Now we have Mortis. Mortis, team wipe, usually. Yeah, it's annoying and it's really strong. Dynamite deals too much damage. Those little sticks as well are crazy. They charge half of your super. You can probably get like 1 or 2 or 3 supers per hypercharge. Stu got his mutation as a hypercharge. It is, yeah, dumb broken. Max is also amazing. The supercharge, the speed boost, everything is just so good about this hypercharge. Then we have Rico. Those balls will go everywhere and they will hit almost every single time. And then probably the best hypercharge in the game is Melody's. With Melody you get 3 extra notes, but this also stacks with her star power, so you get more speed, and with her gadget, so you actually get like a 4k shield, which is busted. Definitely go buy these, they are really good. Those were all the hypercharges. A huge shout out to my channel members, and to everyone, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to sub, and I'll see you in the next one.